Welcome back to For Your Heart and Home. My name is Dee Dee. Welcome into my kitchen. Today I'm sharing 2 Dutch oven meals. My family is currently under the weather, and in order for me to be present and tend to them as they recover, I am making 2 deliciously nourishing meals to last us the next few days. When everyone is feeling a little low, it helps so much to have food already prepared. Warm, flavorful, and ready for anyone who needs a bowl. These meals do exactly that for us. Both dishes today are classic Jamaican comfort foods. A Jamaican-style braised chicken with roasted carrots and russet potatoes served with rice and peas, and a hearty Jamaican-style stew peas with Basmati rice. They're simple, deeply satisfying, and full of nutrients, which is exactly what we need right now. Before anything goes in the Dutch oven, I am seasoning the chicken. For those who've watched for a few times, you know that I already have cut up my chicken, I've washed my chicken in vinegar and some lemon juice, and now I'm ready to season. I'm using my Jamaican green sauce, which is a blend of herbs, aromatics, and spices that add so much depth. Think about scallions, also known as green onions, garlic, thyme, ginger, pimento, and if you like the heat, you can always add a bit of Scotch bonnet pepper as well. It's the kind of seasoning that touches every part of the dish, and it's usually the base of anything that I'm making. I always start with my Jamaican green sauce. I'm going to rub the sauce all over the chicken, making sure every piece is well coated. Then I'll add some dry seasoning to the mix. I will then set that aside for a few minutes, because when you give the meat time to absorb these flavors, even just for a few minutes while we prep the vegetables, you will get a richer, more balanced dish in the end. Traditional Jamaican cooking calls for you to season your meat properly, preferably overnight in the refrigerator. But if you can't do it overnight, at least allow your chicken to sit in the seasoning sauce for 10 to 15 minutes. So the first meal I'm creating is this Jamaican style braised chicken. Braising is one of my favorite ways to cook meat, especially when you want something tender and hands off. It starts with browning. This caramelizes the outside of the chicken, locking in flavor. Then, once the chicken is browned, we add liquid and let everything slow cook at a gentle simmer. This combination of dry heat and moist heat transforms the chicken. It softens the fibers, creates a silky texture, and pulls the flavors deep into the meat. And because braising happens slowly, the house fills with the most comforting aroma. So I heat a bit of oil, and I'm using grapeseed oil in this case. You can use any other neutral oil of your choice. You can use avocado oil. Any other neutrally flavored oil would work fine in this case. So I will heat a bit of oil and brown the chicken on all sides. You don't need to cook it through at this stage. We're just getting that beautiful golden brown color that we're looking for. Take your time here because browning is where the flavor begins. Once all the pieces are done, I remove them and set them aside. Now it's time to build the base. I will saute my onions, bell peppers, and a little garlic right in the same pot. All the brown bits at the bottom dissolve into the vegetables and create the foundation of the sauce. I will add the carrots and the russet potatoes that I have cut into some hearty pieces. These roast beautifully in the oven, but also soak up the braising liquid to become incredibly tender. So to braise the chicken, you don't want to cover the meat completely. I'm going to add just enough water. You can also use chicken broth, vegetable broth, or even turkey broth in this case. And I'm going to add a splash of coconut milk for a little bit of extra richness. Then I will return the chicken to the pot, nestling it between the vegetables. Next, I will cover the Dutch oven and place it in the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit, letting it cook until the chicken is tender and the vegetables are soft and flavorful. This usually takes about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes depending on your oven and the size of your chicken pieces. While that cooks, I'm going to move on to the second meal. Again, at a time like this when my family's under the weather, these kinds of hands-off meals are perfect. I will have something hearty, something tasty, ready to go at a moment's notice, and I can still be present and tend to them. For the next few days, I also want something hearty and protein-packed, and Jamaican stew peas is perfect for that. It's a thick stew made with kidney beans, aromatics, coconut milk, and sometimes small dumplings called spinners. It's wholesome, filling, and full of slow-cooked flavor. We're going to start with the stew. I'm using dried kidney beans that I've soaked for a while, but you can also use canned beans if you're in a pinch or you're short on time. Either works perfectly fine. I start by heating a little oil and add onion, garlic, thyme, scallions, and a bit of pimento because this is my flavor base. Once the aromatics are soft, I will add the beans and enough water or broth to cover everything. I let it simmer until the flavors combine and the beans start to break down slightly. Again, if you're using canned beans, this will happen quickly. But if you're using dried beans as I'm using here, it's going to take a bit of time. Keep a close eye on it so that your beans don't stick to the bottom and burn. Once your beans have cooked through completely, it is time to add your coconut milk base and your additional seasonings. So I'm simply going to pour in 1 can of coconut milk. This adds creaminess and balances the earthy flavors of the beans. I season with salt, black pepper, and a little bit of all-purpose seasoning. You can use chicken bouillon if you like at this point, or vegetable bouillon if you so choose. You can also add small pieces of salted meat. Traditionally, people will add pork or turkey at this point, but I'm skipping that today. I'm just sticking with chicken. I'm going to cover my Dutch oven and allow these flavors to continue to melt together. In the meantime, I'm going to be making the spinners, which are a form of dumplings. These are a traditional style dumpling in Jamaican cuisine. They're not filled with anything. They're simply made with a bit of flour, salt, and cold water. Some will argue that stew peas isn't quite stew peas without the spinners. You need that as that additional texture in your meal. So I will be adding that to our meal today. These are some small twisted dumplings made, like I said, with just flour, water, and a pinch of salt. I'm going to mix the dough together, pinch off the little pieces, roll them between my palms, and make tiny little dumplings. They go right into the pot and cook until tender.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild.
We've added our spinner dumplings and everything is just melding together beautifully. Once I've added all the ingredients to the pot, the next step is to allow the pot to simmer until it's thick. I will let everything simmer until the stew thickens naturally. No cornstarch, no flour, just time. The beans will release their starches, the spinners will soften, the coconut milk blends into a silky sauce, and the chicken tenderizes. By the time the stew is ready, it's rich, it's hearty, and it's so comforting. So my two main dishes are going. I'm going to now work on the sides. I'm making rice and peas and I'll be pairing that with the braised chicken. And I'm also making basmati rice and I'm going to pair that with the stewed peas. For the braised chicken, I cook a pot of rice and peas using coconut milk, thyme, scallions, and you can use canned or fresh pigeon peas or red kidney beans. For this case, I'm using dried red kidney beans. The aroma of rice and peas alone could comfort anyone. It's the perfect base for the tender chicken and the roasted vegetables, and this is just going to complete the meal. With the stew peas, I keep the rice simple since the broth and the stew is already so hearty. So all I need is just soft, fluffy basmati rice cooked with a touch of salt and a little butter or even coconut oil. The basmati soaks up the stew beautifully. So now my braised chicken is ready. The vegetables are roasted, the chicken is tender, and the sauce is rich and fragrant from the green seasoning. The stew peas have thickened perfectly, the beans are soft, the spinners are cooked through, and the coconut base gives it a soothing richness. With everyone recovering, having these two Dutch oven meals ready means I can focus on resting with my family, checking temperatures, making tea, and giving lots of love and comfort without worrying about what to cook each day. Simple meals like this remind me how much nourishment matters. Even when life feels a little heavy, warm food has a way of bringing strength and calm back into the home. Thank you for spending time with me in the kitchen today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and come back soon for more recipes, inspiration, and everyday homemaking from me here at For Your Heart and Home.